Coach Pop, man. I mean, 29 years with the San Antonio Spurs, over 36 years as a coach in the NBA, and this is truly an end of the era. If for some reason you don't know, Greg Popovich will no longer be the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs, but he will transition to be the team president. Now, if you are not caught up on all of the Greg Popovich stuff, he ended up having a stroke early in the NBA season, which pretty much put him out. I think it was literally like the beginning of the NBA season. I don't think he coached very many games, but it happened. He'd been out, he'd been recovering. It seemed like he was going to make a full recovery. And then maybe a month or two ago, we got a notification that he was at a restaurant and he had to be transported to the hospital through an ambulance. Scary times, man. I mean, Coach Pop is. I gotta stop saying. I can't say Coach Pop anymore. Greg Popovich is a 76-year-old, legend of the game. Um, Obviously, I have not been watching basketball for as long as he's been around. Honestly, I haven't even been alive for as much as he has been coaching, which just shows you his greatness. But I mean, he like I said, 29 years with the San Antonio Spurs is something that just can't be replicated. Um he won 5 rings. He had won. He was a number one seed 13 times in the NBA with the San Antonio Spurs. And if you don't know, he was not always the head coach. He started off as a assistant with the Golden State Warriors from the 88-89 season to the end of the 94 season. So for about 6 years he was the assistant coach for the Warriors. And then he went to, I believe, a front office position for the first part of his term in San Antonio. And then he basically hired himself as the head coach. And he had been the head coach from the 95-96 season up until obviously this year, which is 29 years, over almost 2,300 games coached for this, just the Spurs tenure. None of this anymore counts his 6 years with the Warriors, but 2,291 games total, 5-time champ, 3-time coach of the year. He was ranked one of the 15 greatest coaches in NBA history in 2022, when I believe they were doing the whole NBA top 75 stuff, and that was part of it, was 15 greatest coaches. If you ask me, he's probably the greatest coach of all time. There are guys like Phil Jackson and stuff like that who are close, but I think out of especially the guys that are currently in the league, like he's definitely best of the like current coaches like Eric Spoelstra, Steve Kerr, um, guys like that. He's definitely top three, no doubt, no doubt in my mind. My opinion, number one. What else was he? He was a 17-time coach of the month. He ended his career with a 62% win percentage. He made the playoffs for 22 years in a row. That obviously ended after the like Kawhi tenure left and the LaMarcus Aldridge years. He 19 times he won over 50 games. He won. He did that 18 times in a row. He won 60 games 6 times in his career, and like I said, 13 times of having the number one seed. And if you just think about all the players that he's coached, I mean, he has coached Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili, David Robinson. I want to see in his first year with the San Antonio Spurs. Who was on that roster? He in the 94-95 Spurs, he was I was looking at his executive years, but his first year coaching, when he was 48 years old, it was the 96-97 San Antonio Spurs. If we're looking at this roster, this is players like Vernon Maxwell, Will Perdue, David Robinson, Dominique Wilkins was on, his last leg at this time. Avery Johnson, Sean Elliott, there were a lot of people. And then you look up until this season, which is obviously Wemby, Devin Vassell, Stephon Castle, Jeremy Sohan, now De'Aaron. Well, he never technically, I guess, coached De'Aaron Fox, but you know what I'm saying. And you just look at the gap of players. There was the graphic of Stephon Castle won Rookie of the Year, and the 4 Rookies of the Year in San Antonio Spurs history. He coached them all. I mean, David Robinson. He wasn't there when David Robinson first got drafted, but David Robinson in his towards the endish of his career, but he still won a ring with him in 1999. I don't believe he was here for this 03 year. He was not, but look at it. I mean, he even coached Steve Kerr. I mean, Steven Jackson, Kevin Willis, who was 100 years old at this time, Steve Smith. That there are some, just the players in general he coached between David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Wemby, Stephon Castle. He coached all 4 of the Rookie of the Years. Again, not a lot of time for Stephon Castle, just the first few, games of his career. Only really a year and some change of Wemby as well, but there are, a lot of things you can look at for Greg Popovich's, career as a whole. I mean, again, when he was an assistant coach in that first year, I'm sorry, he was an assistant coach originally for San Antonio, then a couple years for Golden State, and then he came back to be a head coach for the Spurs for obviously forever. But he was 40 years old. He currently is 76 years old. So again, 36 years, 62 win percentage, which I wonder, is that the highest coaching winning percentage in the NBA? Well, it's hard to say because there are some people who did not coach as long. It says he's technically 19th, but there are players who really only coached 3 games in here. But the real guys that have, I'm going to look at the guys that have coached over 500 games. So Phil Jackson would be number 1. There's Casey Jones, Red Auerbach, Pat Riley, Billy Cunningham. There's just a lot. I mean, and he coached the most games by far. Jerry Sloan is 300 games behind him. Again, winning percentage, he's probably about 7th or 8th behind if you aren't counting the guys that coached 3 games, 6 games, a whole season. There's got to be a little bit of a criteria you have to meet, but again, just a great career. It was a rough way to go out, but let's look at the bright side. He's still here. He's still a part of the NBA. He, again, won't be a head coach, probably won't be having many press conferences together. Sorry, I'm watching the end of the Houston Rockets Golden State Warriors game 6, and Jimmy Butler and Amen Thompson are in each other's face a little, but still, great career from Pop. Again, he hadn't made the playoffs in again since 2018, 2019, but just a great year. I mean, his best coaching season was probably 2015, 2016. They won 67. They were 67-15. This is obviously the Golden State Warrior year where they were was it the year that the year that they were 73-9. A lot of things happened. I believe that's the year before Kawhi, I think, twisted his ankle and all that stuff happened. But again, he's coached so many great players. He's had such a great career, and he is going to, I believe he's already in the Hall of Fame. Yes, he was inducted as a coach in 2023, but I mean, he just one of the greatest of all time. Again, hopefully he's makes a full recovery and he will be all right, but it's just crazy that he's not a coach anymore. But, obviously getting up there, he had a very successful career, and he should enjoy the fact that he doesn't have to be a head coach anymore.